Well, welcome to the chairman's view, and I'm really pleased to say that, good friend, best friend as well, and has also, of course, been appointed the new chairman. So a massive congratulations.
Thank you very much indeed.
For that. But I suppose one of the first questions, I suppose, is I remember back in, I can't even remember what it was now. Was it 2014, 2015, somewhere around whenever it was? And I give you a call and said, "Do you want to come and see a game?" And we travelled up. I think it was me, you, and I think it was possibly Heather or Hayley in your car, going up to Whittam to watch the playoff final. I mean, did you think you'd be sitting here now as chairman of Harlow Town Football Club? That's back then?
No, not at all. And for that final to be the first experience of Harlow Town Football Club on the scale that it was considering my footballing background. With a local grassroots club, it was poles apart from the club here and what I've now become involved with. I know we'd had one or two earlier meetings with Carl and Sam on the youth side of things. So having been to the club here and had those meetings, there was. It would be wrong to say a falling in love from the first moment, but there was something about this place here that captured my imagination. And as I said last week when this was all announced, I'm delighted, I'm honoured, I'm thrilled to be given this ambassadorial role to start kicking things onto the next level.
I mean, was you surprised? I mean, when that you must have got that call or a conversation with Tom to sort of that asking you to take the role on, or make you take role.
It was obviously Tom's been in Spain for the last 15, 16 months, so the day-to-day running of the club was sat back here with us, and yes, we've had a few full storms and start and stop. But I think in this last couple of years, I've really got to a point that I've become absolutely comfortable in my surroundings, and have taken so many things as far as I could. Now is the time. Now was the time. I needed some more of a challenge, and what better challenge than to try and take us forward to where we all know we should be, and that's climbing back up through the leagues.
So I mean, what was your thoughts? I mean, of course you would have been CEO at the time, but when the actual news broke as well from the FA that all of a sudden now we're no longer an Isthmian club, we're now a Southern League club. I mean, what was the thoughts from yourself and the club around that change, and where do you see Harlow in that sort of
so
tables and such?
We've had so many changes over the last few years, and certainly since my first time with the club, we've had highs, we've had lows. What this has done, it's really reinforced everything we've been thinking, and now is the time for a fresh start with everything. So it's a great opportunity for us to get out and about, see some other clubs and peers of clubs that are at our level. The thing we've got to keep doing is doing what we do. We've got to the point where we believe we've got a budget to be able to compete and go and do what we all want to do. That's all of us as officials at the clubs, the volunteers, the players, and the supporters. We all know we're not, for a club of our history and our stature, we're not where we need to be. So now is that time for a fresh start. So bring it on.
And it's quite a good thing, I suppose, as well. When you talk about fresh starts, we've got new chairman, new league, new manager, new players. So it does feel like a complete, fresh start, completely. Even for the ladies as well. Of course, their news this week as well, which is absolutely amazing.
It's incredible, and it's new everything, and we are ready. We from top to bottom. And I know I'm here every day, but the place has got a different feel to it. We just need other people to start experiencing that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Boris, please, a couple of Mondays' time, let us do what we need to do, please.
Absolutely. So I'll just back onto some of the questions we've got here, and I suppose one of the first questions is, did you and the club expect the 2021 season to be concluded, or was the club planning for the Contalment all along?
there was no planning for curtailment. Dave, you know me, I'm not a gambling man, but you kind of thought there was going to be some disruption of some sort, as it was. Yeah, cancellation, curtailment, null and void, however it's been described, it left us with a real desire. We wanted to kick on from where we were. We didn't want that curtailment position to be a reflection of our season. It was hugely tough the last 12 months, but no, we didn't plan for anything. Yeah, we think it's going to be curtailed.
I mean, was it the right time though for the curtailment for the club at that time? Do you know what I mean? With where we were, do you think that it was a good thing for us, so we could actually hit that refresh button to go again?
Yeah. So obviously the reappointment of Chapo had happened. He'd been back in for a couple of sessions, but yeah, didn't have the opportunity to start kicking on again. So yeah, if we were to choose how things played out, we probably wouldn't have been too far away from what has actually happened now.
So I mean, on that, I mean, what's the aim for the season, and has that changed in the change of chairman as well? I mean, you know, if you've got an idea of what you want to achieve this year, I mean, not just with for people to say to me, "Oh, look, you should be asking that about the first team." But we've got the first team, we've got the club itself, we've also got the ladies as well. I mean, what's the aims, you know, for the club in general, I suppose, as well as the playing side of it.
So one of my biggest passions is for this club to be the town's club. It has it in name. In parts, if you look at our youth structure, which you and I know of old, our ladies, our men's first team, our reserves, everything that happens here is going in the right direction. Now is my biggest passion is to pull all of that together. We've got a great story to tell. We're desperate for more space. That there is, if we think about it, going into our under-18s this coming season, that team will have been with us from the very start. So they've come up through the age groups. This last season, as predominantly 16, 17-year-olds, we've had players from that squad featuring in our reserves team squad, actually getting playing time. We've had reserves within the first team. I can sit here now and say, hand on heart, we can sell that progression through the club from babies, and the Friday nights is just an incredible night at the club. The place comes alive. 50 to 60 youngsters between 5 and 8 years old having some fun. Parents doing the same. Again, a couple of weeks' time, hopefully they can do that with a beer in their hand, with the sun out. But they're our future. They're our under-7s teams being formed from that close friendship. We need some more space to be able to ensure that expansion happens throughout the youth structure. Yeah, and then you look at the senior side of things. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, by bringing the ladies team as we did under Grant Palmer at the time, we knew they were a good squad. Yes, there's been some changes throughout the years, but now for 2 years, you know, we've been knocking on the door for that promotion, and delighted to have had to build a case as to why we felt we were ready. To get that confirmation last week was just the best news ever.
I mean, that side of it though, I mean, does that change anything for the ladies in a way? Does that mean now that you know, because they're in a higher league, I think if I'm right in saying it's like 3 promotions from WSL2, you know, so yeah. that sort of side of it, does that then mean now that there's got to be some, you know, little changes? I mean, some people might be asking that question, you know, does some of the players get paid? Do you have to pay to get in now because they're in a higher level? I mean, is that sort of stuff, information being fed down to the...
Yeah, it's all starting to come through. So, yeah, from a structural point of view, you'll know everything we do, we try and do as professionally as we possibly can. And the ladies' setup is absolutely no different to that. So from the management, the coaching, the secretarial side of things. So the volunteer group that sit around that particular team within the club is as strong as any other. So we've already started to sort of bolster the great squad we had already with some experience. And I suppose if you look at the intent we've signalled with the men's first team and the experience that's been brought in there, I know you'll probably touch upon this in due course anyway, but there's our intent. We want that experience. We want the youngsters coming through to have those role models to underpin the spine of the team, the core of the team. That I think the stat on the men's team for last season, it was an average age of 19. This year, with the players that have been brought back, you've got mid-20s as an average as things stand at the moment.
I'll wait for you to say 40 then.
Do you want to go? But no, that then I think gives us what we've all been able to see in recent years is some youthful frailties there that don't need to be in the spotlight week in, week out. They need an opportunity, then perhaps to spend a bit of time on the bench to watch. But it's been a case of, no, you've got to play, you've got to keep playing. So yeah, across everything, the structure is there.
So we're looking at maybe then, say for the men, we may be looking at, and I'm saying this, not you, but I mean, are we looking at promotion for them and the ladies just to sort of consolidate where they'll be for a season?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely spot on. We have a budget that we believe on the men's side will get us promotion.
So on that point, where do you see the natural level for the men's first team? I mean, without putting the club into financial difficulties.
You know me, you know my background, and for those that don't, as a corporate banker for many years, I've always got to make sure that the book's balanced, and that's a job I've been helping Tom with for some time now, and none more so than in the last couple of years. We can't spend what we haven't got. A big part of, if you ask me what my role as chairman consists of, you can look at other people's history, other people's job descriptions of the chairman. I know what I want to achieve. I know how I want to go about doing it. The biggest thing for me is attracting that support from the community and from local business. We will live within our means. The budget is set. That means it's not going to be here today, gone tomorrow. We're funding it to have a go. So turning a tap on with other revenue generation. Where's our limit? The limit is wherever we can keep drawing that money in from. I want the games that are being watched to be attractive. If we're winning, if we're scoring goals, then the crowds will inflate. We've seen that time and time again.
I suppose the famous thing, you build it and they will come.
That's the one. That is absolutely the one. But yeah, so where do we go from there? That journey's just starting for me, and I want to spend less time learning every nut and bolt and switch and process here, to actually going out and being that true ambassador and helping pull all this together and take us forward.
Well, let's get the one. Should we get the one negative question, I suppose, that was on the list that we've spoken about, and let's get that done, dusted and thrown into the bin. So this one is on there. There has been criticism over the years that the football team has seemed to be less important than other activities that go on in the Harlow Arena. What would you say to that?
I understand the pantomime of a football club, and perhaps some of the playing up of that disconnect between the supporters and the board and the management and things. I suppose on record, if nobody spelt it out before, without everything else that happens within this site, the football team doesn't exist. certainly at the level we have been. So it's all part and parcel of feeding out there. So Tom and the owners have been here 10 years this year. The first few of those years, we all know, were
tough.
Tough like you wouldn't believe. So recovering from hideous debts, it's honouring commitments that as a club have been made, and it's important to note that this club will go on beyond any of us sat here now. It was here before we were all here. We're just the custodians at the moment, but those first few years have been hugely tough. We're now at the point where we are self-sufficient, with the exception, obviously, of the investment that's come into the club from that day one and over the past years when it's been necessary. But we're now in control of that beast, and the more we can turn that tap on and create revenue and create excitement and create a bigger fan base, then the better the budget gets for out there. It's as simple as that. But we still do need these other things within the facility here to underpin all of that, smooth out some of the peaks and troughs. Without it, we'd be sunk.
With that though, do you think sometimes, I suppose, sort of progressing on that sort of question, that we've maybe learnt as a club previously that communication with everybody is going to be the key to get everybody singing from the same hymn sheet, if you know what I mean? So, if we've got an issue and you hear rumblings that somebody comes out and says something, that sort of thing, communication to get these people in, because sometimes sitting on the sidelines, you hear certain stuff and then you hear the other side of it, but I can't say the other side of it, and I can't say that side of it. Do you know what I'm saying? You sort of
this could come back to the pantomime, couldn't it? It could be, there's no news, so let's make some up. Let's speak with so much misplaced confidence about something you know nothing about, and that starts to become fact. Now, there are some things that just don't ever need to be in the public domain. You know that. I know that, and I think most people watching will know that. But could the communication be better? It's something I'm trying to get to grips with the club-wide media and social media. We've spoken about all the different sort of departments, if you like, within the club, and that could be the new gym, it could be the coffee lounge here that we sat within. You name it. We need that message collectively to be joined up and shared. Going back to earlier, we have got so much to shout about. It's untrue. We need some more space to grow into.
And is there space that you're looking at, or is there space that that we may be able to move into?
So from a youth side of things, there's always been third-party pitches brought in, and we've tried to keep them to a standard as close to here as we possibly can. Now, that hasn't always been an easy job. We've got some pitch space that we are using, but there are conversations with the council to be happening. I think we're at the stage now where we need to be able to put our name above a door somewhere else, or a gate somewhere else that we know we can go and turn the key and utilise it, whether that be during the weeks, evenings during the week, or certainly at weekends, which is game day. I think everybody at the moment, or the vast majority, play within this stadium setting. Will we be able to continue with that going forward? No, if we expand, not everybody will be playing at the stadium, so that's why we want that secondary space to be as close to this as it possibly can.
So, I mean, we spoke earlier on, new manager in. We've still not made his second league debut as manager yet, but that'll be coming up hopefully on the 14th of August. But, I mean, he seems to be assembling quite a strong squad, and a squad that I think has made quite a few waves, I think, especially with the fans. I mean,
I'm glad you think so.
I think it's... Well, I think so. I think, from what I've seen on the forum, from what I've seen on social media, I think it's been extremely positive, so far. I don't think I've seen one negative comment on there. So, I mean, you must be excited by that.
Hugely. The work that Chapo Tom as director of football and the whole staff have done to bring those players back in. Let's not forget, they gave us a real good few seasons of excitement, great football, and there's some huge talent in amongst there as well. We quite often say behind closed doors, everybody comes home at some point or wants to come home at some point. And the other week when we were putting that video together, it certainly felt like for all of them there on that occasion, yeah, they were coming home. They wanted to be here. So let's harness that with the sort of complementing the existing squad. Let's hope they're ready for their punishing pre-season when that comes round in a week or so's time, and get them through their paces.
Well, they seem to be excited on that night when we were here doing the video, and Joe and that were all here. I mean, the excitement between them, you know, it was almost like, you know, best friends meeting up again, sort of after quite a period of time, and it did feel, you know, literally like the family was back together again. You know, the 5 or 6 that were here on that night, that were sort of all coming back together. There was, you know, it did seem like quite a nice little atmosphere again, back to how it was previously when we were winning game after game after game.
Yeah, Reedy's only got 21 more goals to go until he hits the club's all-time goal scoring record. So that absolutely will be a challenge for him this season.
Let's hope the machine's on fire.
You couldn't resist that, could you?
I couldn't. I had to get it. But I mean, one I suppose as well over the last, you know, couple of years. I suppose it's been now 18 months, 2 years, or whatever else. And of course, in my head, I want to call him Manuel, but I can't. So I won't. But I mean, how hard has it been to keep in touch with the boss? I mean, you know,
technology is great, isn't it? I haven't seen him in person for that period of time, which he would argue, and I would argue, is probably quite handy actually. But no, phone calls and WhatsApp and Zoom and you name it. We haven't resorted to smoke signals, but if they keep shutting us off from Europe any longer, then we might have to. But no, the communication's been absolutely fine. And
have you found that as well, though, with the likes of Zoom and stuff like that clubs, not just ours, but clubs in general and football in general, hasn't used previously? Now all of a sudden, now it's become the norm now, isn't it, almost? You know, like meetings and stuff like that. It's going to become quite a normal thing.
It has. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of it. I don't think you can beat sitting in a room with somebody and as we are today. Certainly in bigger groups, and now we're at the stage that can start happening again. That will make some of the things within the club a lot easier to manage and communicate. But no, there's been adaptations throughout everything we do, and you know what, we've done it really well. We've got such a fantastic set of volunteer coaches, volunteers around the stadium on match days, etc. It's appropriate. It's National Volunteer Week, isn't it? Or I don't know if we're just coming out of that or just midway in that, but it's so very true for a football club such as ours. Always looking for more. Love to hear from anybody that can spare us a bit of time. I'll happily share some little plans and things that I'd like to get stuck into, and just need some help to be able to do that.
So I mean, we spoke about earlier on about the actual restructure and that of the league and so forth. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, you know, because since I've been here, we've always been an East Midlands team, and I know we have been a Southern team previously, even before my time. But I mean, what's the thoughts between yourself and Tom and Danny? I mean, what is that sort of thought process now? Are you happy to be in the Southern League, somebody different to play maybe, and
looking forward to playing Truro next year when we get promoted.
You might get this year in the League Cup.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Away on a Tuesday night.
A wet Tuesday night in Truro, right. Yeah. But no, it's that new spark, isn't it? It's reigniting our passion for the game again, our passion for all things football, and why not? Let's go and venture to some new pastures.
I think it's that excitement, isn't it? As you just said, of not playing the same team, year in, year out, and you've still got, your your local sides in Waltham Abbey and Hertford and FC Romania and it's a strange local side FC Romania, but you've got some of the local ones in Ware as well that you've still got a place. You've still got friends that you can see and that you've had acquaintances with previously, but then you get to see another sort of 16 odd teams that we've never ever played before and make new friends.
They don't know us, we don't know them, and that whole journey of discovery, whether it be on the pitch or off the pitch. One thing I do like to do is benchmark ourselves when I go to any away games and see what we could be doing better, and other things that we can be really proud about already. And I'm going to do a lot more of that this season, because I know what we've got here is right up there, and we need to follow that on the pitch now.
One of the other bits we put in here as well, of course, was how does the criticism from the fans in the last sort of 18 months or so, or we say 2 years when we were actually playing, I mean, how does that affect you personally and Tom and them staying away from the club? What would be your message to those guys that have left supporting the team on a match day? I'm not saying they're not supporting the side, through social media and etc. But I mean, what would you say to those guys that have stopped coming through the turnstile? I mean, what would you say now as chairman to them to say to them, look, guys, we want you back?
So, lots of questions within a question there. Starting off, does it affect me? How does it affect me personally? I'm left scratching my head sometimes because I struggle when other people don't see all the good that we've got going on here, and that's probably down to me or to us. On some occasions, not making people as aware as we could be about how good this little old place is and everything that goes on within it. So it doesn't affect me personally. It leaves me puzzled. I want people to share that same passion for this place that I have, that we have, that so many do. How does it affect the wider club? For all the reasons we've spoken about. If people are staying away, then that's not helping us build budgets, build a war chest for next season. My one message is we're going to have some fun this year, first and foremost. That's what we've got to have. We've got to enjoy our time together, whether that be the sort of fragmented support that we've had over the last couple of seasons. It's a fresh start. As a country, as a world, we've been through such upheaval in the last couple of years. I want this to be a happy place. We need to get back to enjoying each other's company, enjoying the entertainment that we are going to provide. I can't force people to come, but this is going to be a good place to be. So come and give it another go. If you have stayed away in recent seasons, we've signalled our intent with the ladies by asking for that promotion, with the men, with the squad we're putting together there, the management, the budget that's in place. We're going to start enjoying ourselves. That's what we've got to do first and foremost.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Danny's back. I mean, how glad are you to have Danny back in charge of the first team?
It's all right. No, delighted. His track record for the club is unrivalled, really. Hugely successful. I'm delighted he's got his mojo back. He's going to work him hard this year, but we'll do it with a smile on our face. So no, delighted, and the management team is building around him. He's good. He's good. 1 or 2 more signings to come as well.
Well, that's the next question. The next question, and probably the last question, I suppose, is the fans would love to know. They've seen the likes of the shall we say the stars from last year, the older members of the squad come back as well from the promotion side as well. Any more big surprises that they should be looking out for?
Surprises? Who knows? Every signing we make is an important one. should be greeted with excitement. There will be more signings. Clearly, we've not got that full squad sorted yet, so I won't give anything away just at the moment. But one local bit of talent, which will be good to announce when the time's right. That's what we need to do more of. Building upon what we've got, getting those players coming through, and really shout loud and proud about us being Harlow's football club and bringing talent locally through, supported by a great management team and a great existing squad. So no, there's more to come.
I mean, me personally, one of the, when we announced everything, one of the biggest things for me, and the one that put a big smile on my face when it was announced, of course, was the return of probably one of the best captains in my time since I've been here, other than, of course, Mr. Brown. So, Danny, I do apologise. Mr. Blewett, and absolutely over the moon to see him back in the fold as well and helping out Danny.
From what I've seen and heard, I don't think anybody that we've brought in has been greeted with anything but excitement and surprise and pleasure at them coming back. And Darren, I don't know him too well just yet, but
you will.
What I was going to say was, in the first few sessions that he's been around the dressing room and around the group, he's got that balance absolutely right. He's commanded the group's respect, but he's also, as you'll know far better than me, one hell of a character. And that's, again, back to that, as well as working hard, we've got to enjoy ourselves. We've got to make every occasion we're here, the place come alive and enjoy ourselves.
Well, listen, Tim, thanks for joining us today, and I say massive congratulations again for your role, and literally as a friend for about how many years now? I don't know, 40 plus years. Don't
mention.
But over the moon for you, my friend, and wish you all the very best in your tenure as chairman, and let's hope that we can sit down a few more times during the season and have another chat. I know it's difficult for you, don't necessarily like it, but hopefully we can do it a few more times during the season.
I'm fine. It's a pleasure to sit down with you, and I will always do it. Yeah, it's not something that comes naturally to anybody, I don't think, really. But as we get stuck in, there will be more and more things to share with everybody, and I'll do that with pleasure.
Magic. Thank you very much indeed. Thanks.